hear me. You should be able to hear me now. Bet you're what up,
Hear me.
Giants fans. You should be able to hear me now. Bet you're YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers, along with Kid Blue watchers, his subscribers and followers. You notice a little blue tint. It's not a tint. It's his LED lights that he's experimenting with. How many different colors can you change it through? Is it like they came with like a remote, or is it one of those that's controlled by an app?
One, it's controlled by both. I haven't downloaded the app yet, so I have these regular colors, but
We can't
as
see it
far as
on.
the
You're gonna have to hold it up higher, like
as far
yeah.
as the app goes, I'm pretty sure you could change through like a whole color wheel.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, if you have the app, you
Yeah.
probably could get a bit more precise with what colors you want to
Yeah.
do and whatnot.
You
That would be
know,
pretty cool.
when things get hot and heavy, you know, we go red. You know what I'm saying?
The
But
red barely showing, bro.
yeah, I know
That's
it
a weak red.
barely picks up because my damn face light is so
Turn off
damn.
your face light. Let's see how it looks.
Yeah. Hold on. I see red.
Yeah, like you can see it way more now.
You
Yo,
should.
come back
Yeah,
up.
way
Go to
more. It's just
blue. Go back to blue. Low key. Don't use the face light, bro. Like low
alright,
key.
cool.
That just
Alright,
might be
cool. I
me,
use
but it
that.
looks better.
Yeah, so I was trying to get a good balance. It's just that I don't know. I just hope it's like my frame rate drops with this camera. You see it? The
Mm-hmm.
frame rate drops with the camera when the brightness is too low. Let's see how it works.
We shall see. I mean, hey man, might as well invest to a new camera. You've been complaining about this
Yes,
camera
I
for a
gotta.
solid 2 to 3 years
I
now.
know. I've been procrastinating, bro. I gotta
I
do it.
mean, listen,
Uh,
before we get to the Giants talk here, quick camera talk. If you want a good one, I would not recommend mine, even though it was the one most recommended by everybody else on the internet. I got one of the Logitechs. It's the original price is like 90, but I got it on sale for like I think it was 70 or 60, one out of the two.
yeah.
And it's okay. It works better in my videos. I'm sure you guys see that. But when it comes to streaming, it's like very It's not that much better than my old one. I feel like the best camera out there for streamers right now is the Elgato Stream Cam. And everybody that knows Elgato knows that they make top-notch things. It also comes with a top-notch price. So, like, if you're going to go Elgato, which I think without the doubt is the best, I think that's like $140, though. So beware. But I think it will be worth the price. Shout out to everybody in chat. We got Unlimited Liquid, Yo Raj, Island Boy, Luann, Bark Nasty. What's up, guys? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button as you're coming into the stream. Make sure you subscribe to both myself and Kid Blue if you are new. And share the stream out. The like and the sharing helps it get out to all the Giants fans around the world. Helps us hit the YouTube algorithm more. Real quick before I hand it off to my co-host here, I apologize, guys. I've been basically inactive on the channel since Monday of last week, but I made a post on community notes and then also on Twitter if you guys follow me. The past 2 weeks, including up to basically this Friday, and even next Monday, I actually have just a slew of finals, taking a whole bunch of final exams, doing a whole bunch of final like presentations for projects and whatnot. So I've been kind of slammed with work in regards to that. But I thank you guys for those of you that are still pulling up to streams, for still showing the support. I really appreciate it. I should be back to normal with the channel. I want to say next Monday, hey, even if I have time tomorrow, I wanted to do a general update video to Giants. There's a couple of smaller roster moves that are kind of being overshadowed of the big news that was out today. But with that being said, how you doing, Gio?
I'm good, man. This news kind of got me. It was inevitable, right? We called it. We talked about it. I was like trying desperately for it not to happen. You know, I really wanted it not to happen, but we'll talk about it later. But quickly, man, I want to give a shout out to my boy Kush, man. My son's in high school,
Huh?
college. We're putting in that work and still doing YouTube, and you even have a job too. Like,
I
dude,
appreciate it. And then now
shout out to you, bro. I
my
couldn't
like
do it. I had to drop out of college, bro. I couldn't do it.
Bro, you saw my tweet, bro? I know you saw that one of my tweet there where I was like, yo, I just came out of one of my finals, man. That might be it, bro. That might be it for my collegiate career. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. These finals been hitting supremely hard. No pause, bro. There's been no Vaseline or nothing with it. It's been ridiculous. But yo, speaking of job, knock on wood here. So you guys know, the channel knows I've been doing like tutoring. I wouldn't describe it as part-time. It's more so whenever my students, like their parents have time. So I'm like, hi, I'm gonna come over and teach you kids some knowledge. Yo, I have like a legit part-time job for the summer now. So I really hope that doesn't affect too much with the channel, because it also deals with kind of managing somebody else's YouTube channel. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully I still got enough time, because I'm like, the summer is usually when everybody has time to just do things, you know?
Right. Hey, man, you put in that work, man. Putting in work. Proud, bro. Proud.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Limited Liquid says he got a computer science degree. Engineering finals are no joke. You know, bro. That man is the same thing that I'm doing. He did. It is supremely hard. But let's talk about the James Bradberry signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like you just mentioned, basically since last week, not even last week, the week before, I want to say, I had a feeling it was gonna happen. Because why in the world was Darius Slay out here recruiting him publicly on Twitter unless there was an interest? And that's
Man.
exactly what happened.
There was I just saw this probably maybe 15 minutes before we went on here that there was like 11 teams that called James Bradberry. He had 11 different teams. That's a lot, dude. I mean, I don't know how much a regular free agent gets, but it's after the draft and already that many teams calling James Bradberry, and he narrowed it down to then 3 teams. I don't know which 3 teams they were, but then he chose the Eagles. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it was only fitting. It was just right because he wants to stick it to the Giants. I understand why he's salty. I understand why he has some bad blood with the Giants, but it's war from now on, bro. That's what it is, you know. And we have to see how that matchup goes with Kenny G. But
You think he's
I,
going to be matched up against Kenny Golladay and not Slay? So who's Slay? I don't know if Slay has the agility or quickness to
that's the
match up
thing.
against Tony.
That's the thing. I think Tony's just a mismatch nightmare for the Eagles. I don't think anybody. I think
I'm glad you brought that up.
because like Avonte Maddox is probably the best corner that can stop Kadarius Toney. But then you have Wan'Dale Robinson. Where is he? You know, who's covering him? You know what I'm saying? Or even Sterling Shepard. We even forget about Sterling Shepard if he's going to be healthy. You know. But James Bradberry probably matches up better with Kenny Golladay than anybody. So I imagine that's what they're gonna do. Darius Slay, you're right about Darius Slay. He's not the fastest, not the most agile. He's older. You know, so
I'm
I don't
glad that
know.
you brought up that the fact that Kadarius Toney is a bit of a mismatch for the Eagles,
Mhm.
because even if they say they have, well, in my opinion, the best cornerback on that team right now is James. I think he should be
Oh,
cornerback one.
yes.
But I have a feeling that they're gonna keep Slay as cornerback one. I'm not sure why. Maybe because he's been in the scheme longer. You know,
Probably.
he's the vet over there. You know, it's also maybe a pride thing, like, yo, this is my defense, and you're just
Right.
joining this defense.
And he
I don't
recruited.
know,
He
and
kind of recruited him, so
he recruited
maybe
him. So we'll see. But either way, if Darius Slay is the one to match up against Golladay like he was last year, and then Bradberry is matched up against Tony, there's not many corners in the league that match up well against a Kadarius Toney type receiver. And what I mean when I say that is the natural talent and skills that he brings, right? The agility, the speed, the yard after catch ability, and
just
specifically
the
just,
burst that he
yeah,
has off his routes, like cornerbacks can't keep up with that.
and specifically the slipperiness as well. There's
Yeah.
not many corners that do well with slippery wide receivers in the league. Because even if when I think about it, there's not that many slippery wide receivers in the league in the first place. At least to the
Right.
extent that you see
Right.
Tony,
That's
Wandale,
why
Hill, and whatnot.
every time you see a wide receiver like a Tyreek Hill, they always compare it to Tyreek because there's not a lot of those out there really. Like Wandale, it gets compared to Tyreek Hill. Kadarius Toney gets compared to Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle was compared to Tyreek Hill. I mean, because they're all like there's not much out there, so you can't really compare them to anyone else but Tyreek Hill. They're just those type of receivers. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to
Because
find a
like
slippery
there's a
receiver.
lot of great route runners out there. Of course, there's dudes that do it at another level compared to the rest. There's a
Mhm.
lot of big body receivers, and then there's a lot of jump ball 50-50 receivers. Like those are like the 3 main categories, I guess you'd say. Oh, I'm sorry, let me add in speedsters as 4. But that
Yeah.
fifth rare one, which is like you were saying, that Hill Tony, it's like that slippery one where it's like there's just not many players that fit that mold, and there's not
Right.
many corners that could even guard that mold. But talking about Bradberry once again, I agree with you. I didn't even know there was 11 teams. I didn't know he had that much interest. But
Yeah,
thinking
that's
about
what it
it,
said on the report.
but when I think about it, it makes sense. He is, and I stand by this. I'm not gonna be one of the fans that all of a sudden start trashing on Bradberry. The only time I do that is during game day. We're calling games, and I'm gonna be, then I'm gonna bring out the guns and start talking trash about him. But I still maintain the opinion that I think he is legitimately one of the best corners in the league when he's playing
Mhm.
at his top ball. And when he was playing his top ball, he was a top 10 corner in the league. So adding that to the Eagles defense is definitely something that I'm not terrified of, I'm not scared of, but it's definitely something I take notice of. The reason I'm not scared of it per se, the reason I'm not terrified of it is the same subject we just covered. Because the types of receivers we have, should they stay healthy, they would be able to take advantage of the Eagles secondary, even if the Eagles, their secondary plays up to expectations and whatnot. We're still gonna kill them in the yard after the catch game, in my opinion, and then even with the quickness and probably the short game as well. But with Bradberry, you now have a number one corner joining a team where I say, in my opinion, he should be the number one. You kind of have a situation similar to what the Giants had last year, where I said you have a 1A, 1B. It's the same thing there with
Yeah,
Slay and
they
Bradberry.
got
You
a
have a
good
1A,
tandem
1B
there.
now.
They do
Yeah.
have a really good tandem. Like, no matter how you flip it, right? Say if Darius Slay's the number one and James Bradberry's the number two, I think it should be flipped. But either way, that's a really good tandem. Darius Slay, I mean, is already a number one cornerback. Adding someone who I think is better to play number two is like that's insane, man. It's
But it's,
overkill, but I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's like how the situation we had last year. Good point.
And I'm giving them props, but I'm also, and I'm not doing this because I'm a Giants fan, because I'm an Eagles hater, which I'm definitely an Eagles hater. But I'm also going to take away a little bit from that props that I just gave, because Darius Slay is older, because of the fact that I don't view him as a top cornerback in the league. I never had, even when he was in Detroit, and this was an unpopular opinion back in 2018 when the Eagles got him. Even when he was in Detroit, I thought Slay was overrated a little bit. And then now he's on the tail end of his career. I view him definitely taking a little bit of a decline. We'll see how big that decline is. But I think, listen, they have a really, really good secondary, but it doesn't scare me. The only thing about the Eagles defense that I would say scares me is a thing that I've been giving props to for the entire offseason, and that is their defensive line and edge rusher. And they have great depth with their defensive line and edge rusher. They have some of the best depth, in my opinion, with their front four in the entire league. That's what scares me. And if anything, that is going to be what makes that secondary looks better, just like they did their Super Bowl year.
So I'm looking at James Bradberry's stats now, and this really tells of how the kind of season he had. It's literally almost exactly like 2020, except obviously he had some like low lights, right? That a lot of people keep highlighting. Because I knew that Bark Nasty said Adoree played better last season, and from like the naked eye, it looks like that, right? Adoree had a lot of good plays last season. Of course, Adoree was matched up on number two receivers. Let's remember that as well. But James Bradberry, if you look at his stats, they're almost completely similar. In 2020, he had 18 passes defense, which is elite. He had 17 in 2021
In
last year.
2020, he was second in the league with passes defended. I remember that.
Yeah, and then this year he had 17. So that's no different. He even had a fumble in this year. And he had 4 interceptions, which was one more than 2020. So he has statistically a better season than his 2020 season. The only reason why, and I'm looking at his advanced stats right now, the only reason why it looks like he had a worse season is that he was targeted a total of, well, what is that? I'm not good at math. Hold on. 15 plus 9. What 15? 124, right? 15
Yeah,
plus
15 plus 9
9,
is 24.
24. He was the freaking quick math is not with me, but he was targeted 24 more times last season compared from 2020, and it was 71 completions versus 56, and it was given up a total of like almost 270 something yards. So the difference there, 270 something yards, he gave up, I think, 840 something yards this season compared to 2020's 587 yards. So if you look at those stats, I mean, the only reason why he gave up more yards than 2020, almost 200 more yards, is because he was targeted 24 more times and allowed more completions, obviously, with more targets. So he really didn't have that much of a worse season than 2020 at all. If you look at his numbers completely, it
So,
wasn't that
so let
far off
me
from 2020.
add on slash rebut that. But first, shout out to we got Big Blue for Life Ortiz in here. I think I already shout out Bark Nasty, Flex Lopez, Bluegrass Picker. What's up, y'all? Spin City. Let me get a couple comments. Let's see here. Yevrod says, I think he went to Philly because he bought a home in New Jersey and Philly is close to it. I don't know. The commute might still be kind of long. Maybe he still gets another home in Philly. We'll see. Bark Nasty says, dude fell off the cliff last year. He's trash to say Nuke talk. Bluegrass Picker says, you guys are good together. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Then your record prediction, we'll save that for later in the show. Thoughts on the schedule, we'll save that for later in the show because I didn't even get to do a video on the schedule. Bark Nasty says, Adoree was better all year. I'm not losing sleep. Slow off-ball zone corner that was burnt crispy and packed grams, whack D. Big Blue for Life says, it is what it is. Remember, he's an ex-New York Giant. We're going to be fine when we play against the Eagles. Dable is going to have the game plan for every team. Let's go, Giants. Lamar Santos, what's up, man? He's got the sneezing emoji and then the thumbs down for the Bradberry news. And then Bark Nasty tops it off with how many touchdowns did he let up last year.
He gave up Yeah,
Yeah, give me
real
that
quick.
and then let me go. Give me
Real
that and
quick,
I'll go.
he this is his worst stat, obviously. He gave up 8 touchdowns last season.
I
Now, like I
think
said.
I think
Mhm.
Kid Blue, that was the most in the league by any single corner.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the worst stat, obviously. But to say he fell off a cliff, I
So
mean, he
now
has
let
a
me let me add on, right? And
uh-huh.
slash rebut to what you were saying.
Okay,
Because
okay.
statistically, you just read it off to us. It is a fact that statistically, he
Mhm,
had a better year in 2021 than he did in 2020. But as we were looking at the games and me and you were calling most of these games, we did see that he did not look like the same corner as he did in 2020.
I
There
agree,
was a
I
lot of
agree.
times, yeah.
I just don't think real quick, I just don't think the scheme fit him very well. That's what it was.
I
I
was
think when
gonna
he
get to
played.
that.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, gotta
Yeah.
finish that, good.
So I was gonna say, there was a lot of times that you saw cornerbacks take advantage of the situation he was put in, and I bring this up a lot, which is, playing so far off ball, 10, 15 yards off ball. That's Patrick Graham. But then if it wasn't that, I kind of agree with Bark Nasty, the one sentiment he made where there was a lot of guys that made this dude look like burnt toast last year. Even, if it was not him being in a bad position because of the scheme, he was getting burnt a lot. And then I definitely think that some guys kind of figured out how he played. It was it
Mhm,
was a it was a mixture of Patrick Graham putting out one of the worst defensive schemes I've seen in my life out on the field,
mhm.
of our defense not being able to get any type of pressure, which makes it hard on any cornerback. And Bradberry, I think, not necessarily took a step back, but the receivers he played just knew how to better counter him.
Mhm.
So he did have a worse year last year, even though statistically he put out the better production, in my opinion.
I'll say this, and this may be me reaching for like grasping at straws here, trying to defend James Bradberry, but I've seen this one play in particular when watching him, James Bradberry last year. I want to say it was against Devontae Smith. I want to say it was against Devontae Smith. But Devontae's that receiver ran a stop and go, and James Bradberry was in an off man, like completely cushioned, soft zone. It was cover three, so James Bradberry had one of the thirds, to defend. So he had to move back in coverage. He was lined up like 10 yards off of that receiver. I remember that receiver ran a stop and go. It was like a stutter go. He stuttered where James Bradberry was because James Bradberry stood still because nobody was in the vicinity. Stood still, was backpedaling.
What just happened?
Devon, you
Okay, my
good?
stream cut off for a second. Yeah, I was so
Okay.
worried. It's back though. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna wait till it comes back. Okay, it's back. I want to say Devontae Smith, but that receiver did a stop and go. James Bradberry was sitting there in coverage, and when you have no momentum, when you're that far back in coverage, and you have no acceleration, and the receiver coming at you has all the acceleration, it's hard to keep up with that receiver. If he runs a stutter go right in front of you and then burst upfield, it's gonna take a long time for any corner to regain speed. And then he let up a big catch there. Like it was that soft zone that was a huge problem for James Bradberry. Now you could say maybe he's not a good corner because he couldn't adjust to that soft zone or adjust to that coverage, but some corners just play a certain style. He's a press man corner. He's a guy that gets in those receivers' faces, and that's how he made his money in 2020. Man, he stuck to receivers like glue off the rip. As soon as the snap was made, that receivers weren't able to do their releases correctly. He was jamming them up at the line of scrimmage, messing up their timing. And James Bradberry from off zone coverage, off man coverage and zone, that soft zone was just not his style, man. It just wasn't James Bradberry. And he did get burnt a lot. We even when we called games, we even saw it. Terry McLaurin, Devontae Smith even had some crazy stuff on him. There was a lot of receivers that did burn him up, but I'll defend him in that regard of, man, that cover three or that soft cover three that he was running was so not his forte, man.
What up, heavyweight champion of the world and Hirsch for real in here? Yuvraj said, like Kid Blue tweeted, why are Giants fans acting like James Bradbury is trash now since he's an Eagle? I mean, we all know why, because he's an Eagle, and we should leave it
Yeah.
at that. Hirsch for real says, we're lacking at corner, but you know what? It's a rebuilding, it's a rebuilding year. Let's just be realistic. Alan Boy says, so glad Graham's defense is gone. Timothy, and I've seen Timothy said this last night as well, so we're going to get into potential free agent last minute cornerback signings. He says, will the Giants restructure Galladay's and Williams' contracts to sign Xavier Rhodes? I'm going to say no. I want to know exactly why you're kind of fixated on Xavier Rhodes specifically, Timothy. Hirsch for real says, they're going to cut Leo and Kenny G after the 2022 season. I don't mind if we cut Kenny Golladay. But we need to keep Leonard Williams if he continues to play high level football, and he's been playing high level football for us for like
Keep that
3 years.
D-line together. Keep that D-line
Bro,
together.
people don't realize Leonard Williams is literally a top 5 player at his position, which is interior defensive lineman.
And
He
has
didn't he didn't have the 10
statistics
sacks last year, but he was doing
right,
work. He
right.
was still
He put in
putting
a
up
lot of
top
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was still putting up top defensive tackle numbers elsewhere other than sacks. And of course, let's not even get started about the amount of times our defensive lineman gets held and it never gets called. The biggest guy when it comes to that is Dexter Lawrence. He was getting held every single game, and they were not calling it. Heading back to Bradberry, though, and in terms of his performance, how he would fare with Philadelphia, I guess that would be my question to you now. How do you feel like he sticks with Philadelphia's scheme? I'm going to just say what I said earlier. Even if, the secondary itself doesn't live up to expectations over there, or let me correct myself, in Philadelphia, I really do think their front four and just the potential that they have with rushing the quarterback is going to help out their secondary so much.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of scheme they run over there in Philadelphia. I don't even know at all what they. I don't even know if he'll be successful there, um, at all. I don't know the scheme that they run over there, but I imagine he'll be just fine, um, in Philadelphia.
Don't they run a 4-3? Am I tripping?
Yeah, I'm talking about the back coverage.
Oh, the back cover.
I'm talking about like zone, man, press man, all that stuff. I don't know what they run, but I think he'll be a good fit. Like I said, I think they should stay away from the zone. Obviously, if they turn on the tape and they look at James Bradberry in that soft zone, it's not his thing, man. It's just not. If they play a man defense over there, he's gonna thrive, especially if they have him at number two with number two corners. I mean, he's just gonna eat up. I mean, he's gonna be on an island over there, man. There's no way a talented cornerback like him should be covering number two corners. Just my
Receivers.
opinion. Receivers. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
What up,
Yeah.
C? Bands never say lacking 45. He says, sucks to see Bradbury go to the Eagles, but what can we do to just progress? Hirsch says, Leo is good, just don't like the contract. Maybe that's a video I'll make over the summer or sometime. I'm going to have to see what the new defensive tackle contracts are after this offseason. But I like Leo on the team. I'm leaving it at that for now. Shout out to Authentic in the chat.
Isn't he at 20 mil a year?
He's around 20 mil a year. I mean, in fact, let's just pull it up right now.
If we look
Defensive
at the
tackle
if we
contracts.
look at those crazy defensive tackle contracts that we saw last year, his contract may not be that bad compared to what we're seeing as far as like a ratio, as far as like a ratio goes, like
There's no way
compare
this list is. Hold up.
accurate
What in the world?
front
Do I
four
have to do a
consist.
control F? Because I scrolled down into the 20s and then I didn't find Leonard Williams. Okay. The spot rack has to have him listed as defensive end then because
Defensive
he's not on
end
the defensive tackle
because
contract list.
probably because he's on
Yeah.
3-4. He's in a
So
3-4. They didn't list him as
so
a defense.
he's listed as the 6th highest paid defensive end at the average year being 21 million. And then if we go back to defensive tackle with 21 million, where that would rank, that would be like for 4th highest. So he would be behind Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, DeForest Buckner, if it was listed at defensive tackle.
I don't think that's bad.
And yeah, I don't think that's bad either.
You know what
And
it
then
is? I
for
think it's the
defensive end, he's
position.
behind Garrett, Crosby, Armstead, Daniil Hunter, Emmanuel Ogba. I still think that's a good
Emmanuel
contract.
Ogba making $21 million?
Well,
With
they
Miami,
list.
right?
I think they
Miami?
listed.
Who was it?
I don't
Miami
know
paid him?
why he's listed ahead of Leonard Williams. Actually, Miami. Yeah. Why is he listed ahead of Leonard Williams? Maybe
Because
it's the total
he got that
contract.
contract.
It's the
He
total. That's why they listed him ahead of him.
Oh my god. Dude, who the hell would pay Emmanuel Ogba that much money? Oh my
So
god.
okay, this list is very misleading. Let me because I'm looking at Emmanuel's average
I'll tell you
year.
this.
Emmanuel's average year is like 16. They listed the total.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
let me
okay.
can I do
Try to get to
this?
an average.
Yeah, okay,
I
I
don't.
bet.
I think there's an over the cap has good averages that I look at.
At average, he's third. Okay, so he's third on both lists by average. I think it
Okay.
makes more sense for the defensive tackle because, like I said, I believe that he is a top 5 defensive tackle in the league. Like he is top 5 at his position, and being
And when
behind
it comes,
Donald, Cox, and Buckner, that's like right there. That's right for me.
yeah, it's so hard like labeling like 3-4 like defensive tackle 3-4 defensive ends in the 3-4 because they play all sorts of position. You see Leonard Williams line up at the 3 technique a lot, which is 3 defensive tackle. But in the 3-4, sometimes that 3 technique, that 3-4 defensive end kicks out to 5 technique. And he can play that as well. Not as great as defensive tackle, but he can play that as well. So he's gonna be all around. And I think he's worth the money. People probably don't like it because the position is not the greatest, right? When you hear defensive tackle, you don't want to pay a defensive tackle $21 million. That's what people just don't want to hear. But he's so effective, especially with having Dexter Lawrence in there and adding in two young, great,
Edge
fast edge
rushers,
rushers. Collapsing the pocket should be one of our
collapsing the pocket,
strengths.
and then
Yeah,
pushing the pocket from the
yeah,
inside.
yeah.
I have
That should be
so
one of
much
our
faith.
strengths this year.
I have
Mhm.
so much faith in this Giants front four this year, man. You know, Alan Boyd saying it consists of Leonard,
Yeah.
Dexter on the interior, Kayvon and Aziz at the defensive edges. It makes me very, very excited because Dexter Lawrence, like I say, he gets held so much, and we saw him get held so much last year, and there was no calls. We saw Leonard Williams get held a good amount last year. There was no calls. That's why the homie Austin Johnson was getting to the quarterback, because he was getting kind of free reign. Not to pull him down or anything, because he was doing his thing as well up the middle as our nose tackle. But Leo and Dexter, they won't be able to, or they should not be able to afford to hold these guys anymore because of the threat that we have with two legit edge rushers now. If there's anybody that's going to hold, it's going to be one of the edges, which gives them, once again, it's going to give them a good opportunity to really push this pocket up the middle.
Leonard Williams is such a vital part to this defense
We,
because in
yeah.
order in order to get these edge rushers to thrive, you need somebody that has a great pass rush ability on the inside that the offensive line and the offense needs to like circle. You know what I mean? In order to free up Kayvon, in order to free up Aziz, you got to have somebody on the inside that has just as much pass rush ability as them. And Leonard Williams knows how to get to the quarterback. And now they have to worry about Leonard Williams on the inside, along with two faster, powerful, young edge defenders in Aziz and Kayvon. Man, Leonard Williams is going to be a big part of this defense for that reason.
And then I'm seeing that Hirsch saying Dexter's not getting a second contract from the Giants. I definitely think it depends on this year. I want to keep Dexter Lawrence so badly. I really do. I feel like he's a mismatch in the way that they're currently using him, and thank God that they didn't move him to nose tackle. I know he has the body for it, and I've said this a lot of times.
Yeah,
He's just a mismatch where he is because of that size and because of the athleticism he has at that size. But I definitely can't sit here and say it's a guarantee the Giants are going to re-sign him. I think for sure he's going to have a career year for us to give him a second contract. Whatever that career year is, I don't know, because I'm not asking him to have a Leonard Williams 2020 season. I don't think the Giants are either. I
he
just
can't.
have
They
your
don't play the
best
same
year, I guess.
position. Yeah, they're not the same type of
They're
player.
not even the same type of player.
He's
Yeah.
not going to get like 10 sacks. I don't know. And he's not a sack guy. You know what I mean?
What does Dexter have to do for the Giants to give him a second contract after this year?
I don't think it's a numbers thing. I don't think it's a statistics thing. I think that he just has to disrupt. Well, I guess you could say statistics, right? There's a stat for everything. You want QB pressures, you want run stuffs, right? You want tackles for loss. I want him to be able to disrupt that defensive line where we could visibly see it. You know, on the broadcast film and just look at how well Dexter Lawrence is disrupting that offensive line on the interior, break down that
Real quick, I'm
pocket,
sorry, because
and
this
I
is
would.
kind of relevant to the
Mhm.
conversation.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The Authentic was saying how long is the Leo contract? It was 3 years. So this is actually his last year, isn't it? Am I tripping? Or is next year his
No,
last
this
year?
is his second
This
year.
is his second year. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. You're right. You're right. This is his second year. I bet.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, so next year, you know how Dave Gettleman structured his contract. So the last year, next year would probably be an easy out if we needed to. We'll have to double check that. But as far as Dave Gettleman, the way he did his contracts, he always opened it up to be backloaded. So that third year is always cheap to get out of, and then he'll backload it to make it expensive to get out of. So yeah, I imagine next year it will probably be an easy out if the Giants decide to move on from Leo. So. Yeah. Oh, you talking about Leo? Or you talking about Dex?
No, Leo. Because
Okay.
now
Okay. Yeah.
we were on the topic of Dex, and we'll continue
Yeah.
because it would be
Mhm.
very. I'll just say this: it would be very weird if we cut Leonard Williams for some reason next year, because it's an easy out, and then we also don't extend Dexter Lawrence. Dexter is still gonna be with us next
We
year
would
because
have to.
he will be on the fifth year option,
Hmm.
but we're gonna have to try and replace Leo that year, and then next year if they don't keep Dex, then it will be like 2 years in a row where we got to replace two high performing
Yeah.
defensive tackles.
So we picked up the fifth year on Dexter. So next year he's secured. It'll be 2024 where we'll see what happens with him. But like you said, if we decide to move on from Leonard Williams, I imagine that money is going to be allocated to Dexter Lawrence, right? We have to try to keep same situation how it went with Dalvin Thomas and Leonard Williams, right?
I
You know,
mean, looking at the past
we
10
let him
years,
walk.
you see Hirsch's comment right there. We do have a history of just letting defensive linemen go. So I mean, and this is across several regimes, not one regime. This is across several
Right.
regimes. So maybe that trend continues, but there's also another trend. We have a trend of finding good defensive tackles. I don't know if that's going to continue. Hopefully, it does.
Yeah, I was so pissed off when we let go of Jonathan Hankins, man. That was my guy. That was my guy. Jonathan Hankins was a beast. He had like 7.5 tackles as a run stuffing defensive tackle, bro. That's crazy.
Sacks, you mean?
uh, Sacks, yeah, 7.5
Yeah,
sacks. Yeah, I'm
yeah. You
sorry, I
said
said
tackles. I
tackles.
was like,
My bad,
huh?
my bad, my bad. I'm just way off. But 7.5 sacks as a defensive, run stuffing defensive
Where
tackle
is
in
he
like
now? I know he was with the
2014,
Raiders at
15.
one point.
I think he's still with. I think he just got cut, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
If I'm not mistaken, or is he a free agent? I don't know, but
Joseph,
honestly.
Hankins, Snacks, and then Dalvin. Right, that was the order, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And the snacks we traded, I believe, but yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, Jonathan Hankins is only 30? I thought he was older than that. Okay. It's not too bad. Oh, he's still with the Raiders though. Yeah, he's still with the Raiders.
but
Yeah, I liked him, man. I was sad when we let him go. But
now getting to Kenny Golladay, because that was also part of the original comment that had Leo's contract, Galladay's contract, and then that's when Authentic popped in with Golladay is going to need to kind of go with a crazy year this year. So we just talked about Leo with Kenny. I think it's very fair to say that he's not as important to the team as Leo is, at least right now. If he goes out there and he balls out and the man has a 2019 as a Kenny Golladay year, then I feel like he immediately becomes very, very important to the team and they're going to try and keep him. Do you agree with that? Or do you say he's gone? Is he here if he balls out? What does he have to do? What's your
Kenny
opinion with it?
Golladay?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so disappointed, man, because we were so excited for Kenny Golladay, and the whole sweepstakes in the freaking offseason that year, and we finally landed. We were so excited, and this happens. He doesn't get a touchdown. Freaking Andrew Thomas has more touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion too. But as far as Kenny Golladay goes, man, as far as keeping him next year, he would have to. I mean, I'm not gonna put like a limit on him. He just has to be that number one receiver. He's got to be the number one guy. Like last year, we weren't like. I don't know. Like I said, you can go back in the film. You can look at whose fault. You could keep pointing fingers, whatever. Kenny Golladay was not the number one guy last year. I mean, he just wasn't. Um, he has to.
Who
He
would you say
has to.
was the number one guy? I don't think there
It,
was a
I
number
don't
one
think there
guy.
was a number one
Yeah,
guy,
no,
and
look.
that's the
So
big
it's like, yeah,
problem.
bro, like Jason Garrett was just trash.
Yeah, there was no like separation. There was no, literally no yards of separation, but there was no separation from each receiver. Like who was the better guy? Who separated themselves from the rest? Where was the pecking order there? It was kind of just there's just guys out there running routes, and there was no order to it. I want Kenny Golladay to just separate himself from the rest, play like he did like with the Lions. Like say what you want. He didn't get targeted much, but let's be honest, when he was targeted a lot and he was asked to make when he was forced to make catches in traffic and things like that, he didn't come up in some of those moments. Let's be real. There were a lot of more. I went to 2 games and I saw Kenny Golladay drop passes. Even in catches and traffic, that's supposed to be his number one trait. That's what he's known for in the NFL. The best, everyone calls him the best 50-50 ball guy in the NFL, the best catch and traffic guy in the NFL. We expect you to make those catches, no matter how much opportunities you're given. So there were times where he came up short in those situations. He's got to perform in those situations because that's kind of what we paid him to do. We're not paying him to get 1,300 yards a season. That's not the type of receiver he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy to throw it up there and be a safety blanket for the quarterback. Be a guy to just, when in doubt, hey, Kenny G got to be out there somewhere, right? You see those memes all the time. Kenny Golladay has to be that guy. So, yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I this is tough because I really want to give him the quote unquote pass for last year because he
I do
got
too,
injured,
but
and like injuries are always a thing where it's like, can you really blame the player for injuries, right? It's like, can you? I don't think you can. That's like 99.99% of the times out of the player's control if they get injured or not, right? So you had the injury, which he had very close to the start of the season, and it was very clear, I'd say at least for the first 2-3 weeks of the season, he was not that healthy. Like he wasn't at 100%. Then on top of that, you had Jason Garrett doing Jason Garrett things, which is he did not involve Kenny Golladay in the system in the way that he should have. We were not even targeting Daniel Jones, whether this is on Daniel himself or Garrett, you could put it on both. They were not targeting Golladay like the way that a number one receiver should be targeted. It would almost seem like they were ignoring the man at some points. And then on top of that, when he was targeted, yeah, like sometimes he came up short. It's like sometimes he got the opportunity and almost, and like I was thinking to myself, was he just surprised that he actually got thrown the ball and that's why he dropped it?
I think we said that a couple of times
Yeah.
when we were streaming. Like, I think he was just shocked he was getting.
Yeah, he was just shocked he was getting targets, bro. So it's like, obviously he did not live up to the contract, but there's a couple reasons to go for it. Now, when it comes to looking for this year, I'm definitely looking for this man to ball out. And if he does anything but ball out, I feel like, we should move on because on paper, theoretically, we got way better offensive minds in the building. We got a better offensive line, so Daniel Jones should be able to deliver the ball to him. And that's another thing we're going to be looking at as well, of course. DJ, can he get the ball to the receivers that he should get the ball to? Or is he going to kind of get scared, maybe throw some checkdowns, shades of late career Eli Manning?
Well, we seen quotes of Brian Daboll saying that he wants Daniel to be Daniel. And I think he even threw shots at Jason Garrett, subliminally, saying that, he wasn't allowed to be himself. He was being like a robot. He was doing, he's told where to throw and things like that. He wants Daniel to be Daniel. And listen.
By the way, did I not say that before we even hired Daboll? I was like, it just seemed like Garrett was trying to turn this man into something he isn't. Because Daniel Jones, we saw his rookie year in at Duke, was a gunslinger to me. The Daniel Jones we saw the past 2 years was way too conservative game manager.
Here's what I will say. People are gonna want Daniel Jones to be a gunslinger.
I do.
I do too. Trust me, I do too. But there are perks with that. You're gonna get. This is why Eli Manning was so disrespected in the NFL. This is why Brett Favre as well. You're gonna throw interceptions. You're going to throw some bad passes. When you're a gunslinger, you're a guy to just fire the shot. You're a guy to just take the risk. Daniel Jones is that type of guy. We've seen that a couple of times, right? He just throws the ball, whatever. If you guys really want Daniel Jones to be a gunslinger, like what he's supposed to be prepared for some boneheaded throws straight to a freaking cornerback. Be prepared for some 50-50 balls and triple coverage. Eli Manning did that stuff, and he made his money like that. Eli Manning, a bunch of his best highlights Eli Manning had were from just freaking lob it up there and trust your receiver to go get it, right? That's gunslingers, Daniel Jones can be that, but he's going to have his time. I just want the media not to overplay Daniel Jones's, if he messes up on, being a gunslinger, because then it's going to really, like, obviously these players are looking at the media. It's going to kind of deter him from doing that, right? From taking those shots, because he's going to be torn up by everybody. And as much as a lot of people like to say, well, the players don't really care what the media says. It's New York, dude. It's New York. It's almost impossible not to hear what somebody's saying about you, So, and this is why it's so hard to play in New York. This is why there are only a certain amount of people that can play in New York. I hope the media doesn't tear him apart when he has some games. If he's allowed to be himself, he may have a game where he throws no touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You have to let this guy ball. Just let him ball. He'll get into the groove. He'll take his risks. Sometimes he'll win games because of it. Sometimes he'll lose games because of it. So I just hope that he's successful in doing it. I hope there's more good than bad, but there's gonna be some bad if he's allowed to be a gunslinger, and I want him to be. As much as I say I won't be mad, I may be mad too. Who knows? But yeah, man. I just wanted to take those shots, man. Take those shots. Stop checking down. Take those shots.
Shout out to J25 Hood in the chat. Duran Osman, what's up, man? How you doing? DB from EP, Mike B, Luan. I think those are the new people that popped in. Let's see what the comments say here. Kenny G, the sax player, has better hands than Kenny G. Which sax player? Is there a specific one or just a saxophone player? Duran says, KG will produce when the O-line gives the QB time. The flaw in Garrett's offense does produce because Dallas had an O-line. That's part of it, but also part of it is definitely that Garrett just, listen, man, he was not putting him in any position to succeed for sure. And then J25 Hood asks once again, what's the Giants record this year? Let's get to it, all right? Because I haven't spoken on the schedule at all. Let me pull up the Giants schedule.
Dude, that could be an alternate name for the damn podcast, Cushion the Kid. I like that's a cool thing. I'm not a kid, but I'll take it. A kid blue, you know what I'm saying?
Where is their where is their on their website? Do they not have the Giants schedule on their website, bro? What is this?
I don't know. You can probably look it up on Google Images. They have it. They have it on the. They made a graphic of it. Google
That's what I'm looking
Images.
for, the graphic. And wow, yo, they need to fix their website, bro. Hire me. I'll do it.
You know what's crazy? I don't even. It's so hard to find information on Giants.com. I just literally like
It
they don't
is.
update their rosters. They don't update anything.
Let's see. I believe you
Yeah.
guys would be able to see that. I probably should zoom in a bit more. But obviously, week one, Tennessee, all right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to first, run through the whole schedule. Then I'm going to give kind of my thoughts. And then we'll kind of go a little bit in depth and see what's up with it, right? So we got Tennessee, Carolina, Dallas, our only primetime game, Monday Night Football. Chicago, Green Bay, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Seattle, Houston, Detroit, which is a Thanksgiving game. Dallas. No. Dallas is the Thanksgiving game. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dallas is the Thanksgiving game.
Mhm.
Washington, Philadelphia, Washington again, Minnesota, Colts, Philadelphia. For like 3 years in a row, I'm noticing we have Philly twice late in the season and Washington twice late in the season. That's kind
We
of
have all of the
funny.
NFC East consecutively. At least one matchup with them. Look at the
Yeah,
list.
Dallas,
Dallas,
Washington, Philly, then
Washington,
Washington
and then
again.
Washington again.
Jesus
And
Christ.
then right after Minnesota and the
Yeah,
Colts,
we end the
another
season
NFC
against
East.
Philly. All right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So looking at this, obviously disclaimer being that it's still way too early in my opinion. We got to see how the rest of the offseason goes, if there's any injuries, if there's any surprise signings, trades, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the deal. It's May. The season ain't starting until September. So get that out the way. But before I saw the actual schedule, I always thought this is a team that could win anywhere from 6 to 9 games. Looking at the schedule, I'm staying right there, 6 to 9 games. I don't think it's going to be as bad as some Giants fans are saying. I'm seeing a lot of Giants fans say they have the realistic take of like 4 games, 5 games. I'm like,
I can't
that's
see it.
kind of
Here,
pessimistic. I mean, I don't
not
blame
only
you for
not
being
only that,
pessimistic given our track record the past couple
I
of
think
years.
yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
I think people are saying the 4 they're not really looking at the schedule. They're saying 4 wins because they think this team is a 4-win team. But this team may be a 4-win team, but with the schedule that we have, it may boost that up a little bit. I I did my
We
schedule
have one of the
predictions.
easiest schedules in the NFL, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah, the whole NFC East, all 4 of them are on the bottom as far as the easiest schedule in the NFL. So, um as far as I did mine, I went live for it, and we went through all of them. And I'm a realist as realist can be. If I think my team is gonna lose, I think they're gonna lose. I came up with 8 wins. I don't think this team is that good, but I came up
8
with 8 wins.
wins?
Yes, look at go through, dude. I'm telling you, go through the list.
All right, so
Go
let
through
me
the
go
list.
through. Shout out to Brooklyn Hit Squad in the chat. So, all right, let me go through. Not really doing analysis, just my first thoughts that come to my mind. I
All right.
think Tennessee, I think we're open up on an
L.
L. Unfortunate. It's
The
gonna be
worst
another
team to
year.
match up with week 1, in my opinion.
Gonna be another year where the Giants start off 0-1. Carolina, toss up. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
I had it as a dub because I feel like we're in a better spot than they are. I think they have a worse roster than we do, and worse quarterback problems. So
So they got Sam Darnold at the QB. They got Christian McCaffrey at the running back. What's their wide receiver position like?
DJ Moore is good. I like he's underrated. But besides that, I mean, Terrace Marshall was a doesn't look like a good pick for them. They
And
still
then their
have Robbie
defense.
Anderson. Defense, they lost Hassan Riddick. JC Horn's coming back from an
They
ACL
did lose
tear.
Hassan Reddick, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give us the W. So we start off 1 and
Yeah.
1. Dallas, that's a L. I'm not gonna lie to you. Dallas is a L,
Yep.
especially on Monday Night
I had
Football
his
prime
game. I
time.
had us being swept, unfortunately, by Dallas. But
I'll see if we get there. What's also unfortunate is that I've said this before. Usually when I go to a Giants game, it's late in the season because it matches up with my birthday. But this year I'm gonna go to an early game, and then when the schedule release, I'm looking at Dallas week 3 because it's Monday Night Football. It's a nice early game, so it's not gonna be cold. KB knows how cold it was when he went there. For the last game.
oh my
I'm not trying to
god,
do that
yeah.
again. I'm not gonna lie to you, Gio. If you're gonna come back up, I think I'm going to week 3 Dallas. It's just gonna be a nice event early,
I'm gonna
NFC
try.
East
I'll try.
matchup,
Yeah.
and then also
Get
it's
something
it's
going.
primetime game as well. So I feel like that would be really fun. So
Facts.
that's starting off 1 and 2, right? Chicago, I feel like that could be a dub. That's 2 and 2. Green Bay, that's a L, even though it's overseas. That's 2 and 3. Baltimore, that's a L. That's 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, that's a W. That's 3 and 4. Seattle,
Dude, that team is garbage. That team is garbage. I know Seattle's probably looking at us like we're garbage. I
Yeah.
get that.
Every
I
team
get
is.
that.
I hope you realize that every team
I
is looking
know.
at
I
us like we're
I know.
garbage.
Trust me. I said this in my live stream when I did it too. Like every team is gonna be because I saw people say 11, 12 wins. I said, dude, well, you guys are insane. But dude, Seattle, look at their roster. It's freaking. They had a good draft. Don't get me wrong. Dude, Drew Lock's gonna be their quarterback. We don't know if Baker Mayfield or Jimmy G is going there yet, so that may be to be determined.
All right,
Look at their
so I'll
look at
say
their roster,
four.
bro. It's
Wow, that's
garbage.
4-4 start seems
That's what I said.
unrealistic though,
That's
bro.
what
I'm
I
not.
said. I was, dude.
What?
That's what I
That
said.
doesn't seem real.
I was about to change I was about to go back
Four
and
and
change my
four?
predictions. I told you. I told you. You may think it's a 4-win team, but this schedule can boost that up. This may be a 4-win team, but the schedule that we have can make a 4-win team an 8-win team, just like that, because of the easy schedule that we have. Now I see us between 7 or 8 wins. So why can't I hear myself? I cannot hear myself.
Houston, I
All right.
have no idea about Houston. I think Houston got better. They really
Yeah,
did.
I had
I
authentic
think
said the
I'm.
Lions could beat it. I had the Lions beating us. I think the
Oh no,
Lions are
I
a step
think the
ahead of us.
Lions are definitely. I don't know why. I've become a really big fan of the Lions over the past couple
Me
of years.
too. Me too.
I've
Me
loved
too.
what they did with their team the past two off seasons as well. So I have us as an L against the Lions. I'm stuck on Houston though. Um
Authentic said any team can beat us. Honestly, there's no
yeah.
team that I really think is an easy dub, but a team like Seattle,
Okay.
honestly, is
So
falling
the
apart.
optimistic
Falling
view is that we
apart.
beat Houston and then all of a sudden we're 5-4. Giants fans are excited looking to the playoffs.
And
And
we
then
lose
we
to
take an L
Detroit.
to Detroit and that's 5-5.
Yeah, and then I think we lose. I think we get swept by Dallas again. It's just that the matchups. I don't like the matchups. Thanksgiving. I know Dallas has been losing Thanksgiving games. I get that, but we never play Thanksgiving. I think the lights are going to be too big for this team, and we're going to lose. And then obviously you have that week 3 game Monday Night Football. We don't win primetime games. It's just what happens. But you got a super chat.
Shout out to Tudo. What's up, man? Thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, please make it official on your live show. 220 of the Italian diehard Giants fans will be at the link this coming December Giants game. All the Stinky
Damn.
Boys losers pull up, show up, and shut the hell up.
Dude,
You already know.
if
Yeah, Tudo
Giants
travels
fans,
hard from Italy specifically for the Philadelphia game, bro.
dude, as a Giants fan, I don't ever want to step foot in the link, bro. Them
I
fans are
have to
ruthless,
at one
bro.
point, bro. I have to at
I
one point
will.
in
I
my
will one
life.
point in my life, but I'm gonna be prepared to be like freaking sucker punch, bro. I know, dude. Giants fans are
Yeah,
abused over there, bro.
yeah. I'm not
I
trying to
don't
get
want to be
shanked.
over
Listen,
there.
bro.
Exactly,
The day
dude.
I step foot in the link is gonna be the day after I get out my summer gym grind and I'm like 250 of pure muscle, bro. But with Dallas, I'm gonna go against KB. I'm gonna say we beat them. I'm gonna say that at this
Oh damn!
point,
Then you might be looking at it. Just
this
keep
is a
going down
this
the
is a
list.
six this is a 6-5 team. Washington first matchup, I say we take the L. Eagles first matchup, I think we which one is this at home? No, this is away. Yeah, I think we take the L there. So all of a sudden we're 6-7. But then I think we win at home against Washington. That's 7-7. I think we lose to Minnesota. That's 7-8. I think we lose to the Colts. That's 7-9.
Yeah.
And I think we do win against the Eagles, which is 8-9.
8 and 9.
What? No,
Didn't I
no,
tell you,
no,
Kush?
no, no. That
Didn't
doesn't
I
make sense,
tell
bro.
you, Kush?
That doesn't make sense. That's
Ours,
too.
ours,
I don't. There's
ours is
no way
completely
we're
the
winning 8
same.
games, man. That would
Ours
be
is complete.
crazy.
Ours is completely the same, except I think you have us winning a game
What?
against Philly, right? I think I had us.
I had a splitting with that. I had a splitting with all of the NFC East opponents.
Okay, I had us being swept by Dallas, and I had us beating Minnesota just as a surprise win. But our things is almost exactly the same. Besides that, dude, I'm telling you, anybody
And
can think
we
this
have
this a
56 people
garbage
watching
team.
now. So
Yeah,
first of all, guys, make sure you hit that like button. But I hope anybody that's new potentially is
dude.
looking at me like I'm a Giants hater or
Maybe
something.
pull magic on Kush. I told you, 8 and 9, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling
Listen,
you.
listen.
I didn't think
I
it
hope
either.
nobody
I
thinks that
think
I'm a hater, but I just don't see this team being an 8-win team right now, man. So like, I don't know. Maybe like I was just about to say, and I see the authentic comment. Maybe we don't split with Dallas. Maybe we actually get swept or something. You know what
I
I'm
have
saying?
us. I
That's a
had
big
us.
possibility. Same thing with
We could
Philly.
easily be swept by both of them. We easily could be
And
swept by
also,
both of them.
don't rule out the fact that one of these teams that I had as an easy W could beat us, like Chicago, like Jacksonville, even though that seems crazy, like Seattle. It
Yeah,
happens. It happens all the
it
time
does. It
in the
happens. It
NFL.
happens. Yep. Yep.
So I mean, shit, man. Nah, I don't know, bro. That's weird though.
I know.
8?
Dude,
Nah.
I went into the schedule thinking that, "Oh, we're gonna get 6 wins the most." Because I was like, "Listen, if we could just play scrappy, get 6 wins in Joe Shane's first year, I'll be happy." I went down the schedule, live, and I was like, "Damn, do I really have this team with 8 wins?" Here's the thing. I honestly think, like every year, there's gonna be some games that we win that we should lose, and games that we lose that we should win, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tudo for the other $10 super chat. I appreciate that, my man. He says, my father started me and my 3 brothers since we were 6 years old in boxing and MMA just to build us tough, mentally and physically. Not to learn how to defend ourselves, but to learn how to assault to the end. This man said to learn how to assault people, bro. Nah, but Tudo is tough. Shout out to Tudo and his rugby team, man. One of their trainers is actually Clay Matthews, as crazy as that sounds. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. Phil and Dallas could sweep us possibly. Definitely possible. I would say any of the NFC East teams could sweep us. I would have put that out the possibilities. Alan Boy says, I guess we're stuck in Gelman's ways, predicting all these losses. I don't know if you could even necessarily blame us, bro. You want to call it Gelman's ways, whatever you want to call it. It's last year and recent history. You know what I'm saying? Durant says, I'm not scared of Philly and Dallas. Washington could really surprise people. That wide receiver core and defense could do some things. Wide receiver core, yes. Defense, yes, to an extent, because they, just like how our defense took a step back last year, theirs took an even bigger step back, you could argue. So we'll see how they bounce back. Your right says 3 games I'm looking forward to this year. Packers, Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and Vikings Christmas Eve. I didn't even peep the Vikings was on Christmas Eve. Christmas is on a
Yeah,
Monday this
yeah,
year?
I guess so. Yeah, I saw that was Christmas Eve as well.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Authentic says, KB said Joe Shane's first year. I'm telling people this is Shane's team. Dable is the brain and the assistant. So I guess he's agreeing with you. Would you
Yeah.
second that sentiment? Is Shane's team and Dable is the brain and assistant?
Yeah, it's definitely Shane's team, and of course, Dable's gonna be putting his input and be the assistant. Like, I especially in the first years of regime, I would never think the head coach is the one calling the shots there. It's definitely Shane's team. So I would hope the success and or failure, well, it would be success or failure of this team should be on Joe Shane. Like he's supposed to be the guy in charge. I don't want anybody else, messing things up like John Mara. So
Mm-hmm. And guys, actually drop your, as I see CJ dropping his record prediction, drop your record prediction, just a record prediction right now in chat so I could see where you guys are feeling this team going. CJ says 7-10. Cookie Monster says 5 wins. We draft a decent QB and we'll be in the Super Bowl 2025. Yuvraj says, I'm going the Bears game this year. What games are you going to? I'm going to try and make the Dallas game, but I have a feeling tickets for that is going to be super expensive, so we'll see. Yuvraj says
yep.
10-7, the first optimistic one we see right there. Cookie Monster 5-12. Bookend Tackle says, I know one thing for sure. No double QB sneak at the goal line. No more playing not to lose. Thank you. I love that phrase because that describes last year perfectly. We'll be more aggressive. I take back the optimistic comment from Rear Raj. I'm gonna put it on Grilled Mount Scott because he says 11-6. Now
Wow.
I would be popping bottles if we somehow went
Oh hell
11 and
yeah.
6 on
With
camera,
this team?
on stream. I
Oh
will
yeah,
be
you
having
are of age now.
I
You
will
are
be
of age
having
now.
I would be having biddies coming through the door on stream, bro.
Wesley will put his channel on the line.
I will put my channel on the demonetization fringe
You better get
if we
shadow
go
banned
11
for
and
real.
6. Oh man, bro.
Oh man.
Authentic says 7-10, so that I think that's 2 7-10 so
I think it's the
far.
most realistic record. I think that's the most
Yeah.
realistic is 7-10.
Sedan
I
Smith
think
says
it's the
9.
sweet spot.
And I mean, yeah, like I somehow came up with 8. I don't think it's gonna be that way. Like I think my
I came
range
up with A
was
too.
6 to
Yeah.
9, so anywhere in between there, man. And the reason I say 6 to 9, goes with what Duran just says. Of course, our record depends on DJ. I still feel like we have a talented enough team to win more than 4 or 5 games. Which is, if we win 4 or 5 games, this might be a hot take slash unpopular opinion, but I view that as a failure, even though it's the first year in Joe Shane's regime.
I would
We
say
should not
the
win
step
4 or
back
5. We're a more
because of
talented
the
team,
schedule. Look at this schedule.
and yeah, and
You,
it's an easy schedule.
you know what it is? It's one thing to say this is a 4 or 5 win team, right? It's one thing to say that, but when you take into effect the schedule, you have to boost it up a win or two. You have to just look at the schedule. You may say in a average to hard schedule, it's like a 4-win, 5-win team. But if you look at how easy the schedule is, how much that record could be curved, a lot. Think of it. There are a lot of playoff teams that make the playoffs with like 10-6 or 10-7 records or 11-6 records that are probably 8-win, 9-win teams. The thing is, they have easy schedules, so it helps out their wins a little bit. It happens all the time in the NFL. There are a lot of frauds that make the playoffs because they have easier schedules.
We bring up this
So
year a
this
lot.
may be a situation.
We bring up this year a lot because it's the only recent year of success. But the 2016 Giants also had an easy schedule, I want to say.
Yeah.
That same year that we
Good
went to the playoffs.
good point. Yeah.
So, or like one of the easier schedules of the NFL.
We did, dude. We scored 16 points a game, and we still came
Yeah.
out with wins. I mean, Jesus.
Oof. Your Rod says, I think the defense will be top 10 and the offense will take a major leap. I think the defense will be top 16. I'm going to say that. Top 10, we'll have to see. I feel like, and this goes back to the comment earlier, if we have
it's
good
hard
enough
for me to say
talent,
top 10.
like we have good enough talent, it will be up to the coaching of Wink Martindale to see
I
us
think
into
the
the top 10.
secondary is going to struggle, though. I think I honestly think our front seven is going to be fine. I actually don't have a worry about the front seven. I think we have good depth there too. I think my biggest issue is the secondary. My biggest issue.
Not even you're saying that you still view the linebacking core currently as better in the secondary?
No, I just say the front seven as a whole, like as a unit, like the
Okay.
front seven, that's collectively. Yeah,
Okay,
the
cool.
linebacking core, of course, is not up to not great, but I'd say collectively with the defensive line, I think it's better than the secondary group.
And shout out to Tudo for the $5 super chat. Then I'll get right back to reading y'all's comments. He says the same London Stadium Italian national rugby team, we beat Wales in March, and I was defensive player of the game with 33 hard tackles and disabled 2. Is that a rugby term?
Is that a
Disabled
stat?
2? Is that a stat? Is
That's
that the
He
equivalent to a sack?
he disabled 2 people.
I was about to say, or did you disable? Did you like hit 2 people so hard that they had to go to the hospital?
He's coming in with 2 disabled players made a game.
He knocked people so hard that he Vontaze perfect. Let me stop. Let me stop. But Tudo, definitely clarify that for me right there, my man.
Rugby's hardcore, bro.
Rugby is definitely
really
hardcore.
Dude, I watched a couple of rugby highlights. I was like, damn. And they say football is hard, bro.
The rugby is hard, but careful what you say there, because I've seen professional rugby players say that football is even more rough because they allow you to hit full speed in football. And I feel like
they allow you to hit full speed in rugby?
there's scrums and stuff. This is from like a video I saw.
I know, but I
on
see
YouTube
people
of
get
London rugby
clotheslined in
players.
freaking rugby, though.
Yeah.
I see people get straight clotheslined in there, and then even in scrums, you can hit your head. They don't wear helmets,
Yeah, they don't wear any paddings. We'll see.
Freaking insane.
So
And their thighs are like, it puts Saquon to shame, man. Their legs are just put Saquon to shame.
yo, live on stream,
God.
Kid Blue.
You know what I'm saying.
Live
man.
on stream, bro. Kid Blue just admits that he's looking at men's thighs, bro.
I mean, it's hard not to look at, bro, when you're watching rugby, man. It's just hard not to. I'm just saying. Dude, if you see someone with those legs coming at you, bro, that's it. R.I.P.
Legs doing what at you?
Going at you.
Okay.
You, man.
Let me get back.
I try to like rephrase.
Let me get back to these comments. Tommy for one says Robinson had 5 100+ yard games and 2 165+ yard games, 2 97-yard games. Just listen out the man's
What are we doing?
great stats right here. He says get separation, great pick. I agree with you. Robinson led the SEC in receiving yards, I believe, and might have also led them in targets. I'm definitely excited to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I got to see what the targets won, but I know he was 3rd in the SEC in receptions.
I thought he led the SEC. He led the SEC, bro. Stop it. I think he was third in college football.
3rd in college football? Oh, okay. Maybe led the SEC 3rd in college football. Okay, I know he was 3rd in receptions. Or something.
Yeah. Then CJ says 2-4 in the division, 2-2 against the South and Seattle Panthers, Bears. Authentic says I'm reserving 50% chance that Dable's pre-snap style will fix DJ. Pre-snap, I'm not that knowledgeable about it. Are you?
It's probably like pre-snap motion, stuff like that. I'm not that knowledgeable in like watching Dable's offense, but when I hear that, I'm thinking pre-snap motions and a lot of checks and corrections, stuff like that at the line. So that's what I'm thinking.
Shout out to Talking Sports for
Basically, it's a better way to differentiate if they're running man or zone defensively.
Duran says, remember that year the Giants injured like 5 QBs? What year was that? We injured 5 QBs. What in the world? Is that recent?
I know there was a year where we injured a lot of. Was it Dak's year? Was it the year that we injured
Dak was
Dak?
the only quarterback we injured. That was
Well, Dak was the
2020.
only quarterback that we injured like that. Okay, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Yeah, there was a year that that quarterbacks kept going down.
Oh, he says 2010. Okay, cool. 2010.
2010. I
I
think I heard
definitely wasn't
about
watching
that.
football the way I am now back in 2010. I don't know about KB. Despite
I
his
just don't
despite his
remember.
looks,
I
he's like
was
100 years old.
shut up.
He's like an elf.
I've been watching
Hey,
the
wait,
football
the
my
height
whole life,
matches as
bro.
well. Elf. Yeah, you're an elf, bro.
Whatever,
You're a
dude. But
Hispanic elf,
hey,
bro.
Hispanic elf. But yeah, I've been watching for a while, but my memory always screws me up, so I can never remember things that happened in the past, like players and stuff like that. But my memory's a lot better now with like more recently, like 2014 and on, a lot better with Giant stuff, but not anything beyond that.
Shout out to Tudo for the $5 super chat. He says, contrary to the NFL, we don't wear any helmet, body pads, or diapers. I don't think we wear diapers in the NFL either. We make a living by hurting people,
He's
by
saying
making
we're
them
babies.
bleed for
He's
extra
saying football players are
bonus.
babies. That's
This
what he's
man
saying.
says that they make them bleed for the bonuses, bro. Isn't that what Sean Payton got fined for those years backs? Right? What gate was that? I forgot what gate that was. Targeting the
It
players.
was what was it? What was it called?
It was one of the gates, bro, for the
Yeah, it was
Saints.
gate.
Either way, besides the point,
Yeah,
let's
I don't
talk
remember.
about OTAs. Bounty
Bounty
Gate.
Gate.
OTA slash rookie camp wrap up. So the rookie mini camp wrapped up over, the weekend essentially. And both of these things so far, rookie mini camp and OTAs, have been open really only to the media, which means that the media is obviously the only people that could see it and talk about it. But even then, because it's open only to them, there's only certain things they've been allowed to talk about. If you notice, we haven't really had many articles talking about OTAs. We haven't had many articles even talking about rookie minicamp. All we know, we've had a couple good interviews with Kayvon, which I love. Seen a couple good interviews with Kayvon Thibodeau. He has his Dream Foundation going around, and of course, if you guys can, definitely go out and support that. But in terms of OTAs, I'm not hearing nothing. I mean, I heard that my guy Daniel Bellinger, who's my tight end #1, probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite picks of the draft, outside the top 2, obviously.
Yeah,
I heard that he had a great OTA day 1. He made the cash of the day. And this is a guy that wasn't necessarily used for his cashing ability at San Diego State. He was used more for his blocking ability. But we know that he has some of the best hands at the college football level because I think he had the lowest drop percentage at the tight end position in all of college football. So I don't know, man. Did you hear anything special, OTAs, or even if you just want to add on to the Dan Bellinger thing? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of people were shining in OTAs. Dan Bellinger was one of them. I know Yusuf Corker, the undrafted free agent, had the only
I'm
interception.
glad you brought him up because I did see 1 or 2 tweets about that. Beat reporters seem to love him. Even a couple scouts, they were surprised he went undrafted in the first place. They seem to have, a good idea or a good future for him is what they're expecting, basically.
Yeah, a lot of people like him, and he has one of the better chances to make the roster just because of the lack of depth there at the safety position. So he has a really good chance to make the roster, especially if he provides something on special teams. I heard Austin Allen was making some plays. I'm not the biggest fan of Austin Allen. I like his height, like his size, but I'm more of like the Andre Miller type guy, the receiver that turned tight end. More of a fan of him. I know. I don't know if they were talking about the fullback Jeremiah Hall a little bit, but I like him a lot. But I think it was our guy Micah
There's also Jashawn
McFadden making
Corbin
some
is the
plays
guy
too.
that's been getting a lot. The other
Yes,
undrafted running back.
Jashawn Corbin actually has been making some noise as well. And then Micah McFadden too, the linebacker that everyone likes to hate on, but I love him and he's gonna be the next great thing. So he's been making some plays as well. I don't hear nothing about Darian Beavers, but
Nothing about Darian Beavers.
it's just a little, I guess, rivalry now after that freaking Twitter spell. I had like freaking 5 people just like all like talking like ragging on me about freaking Micah McFadden and versus Darian Beavers. So I like both of them. I really do. I don't dislike them both. I just think Micah McFadden's better. That's it.
I got a little
But
distracted because I looked at Twitter and I saw I don't know if you know who Bronny is. He's LeBron's oldest kid. I was
bro.
surprised that he's wow, this man, we're growing old because he's at prom right now. Nah, actually I can't say that. That was about Yeah,
We know what you was
I
about to
can't say
say,
what I was about to
guys.
say. Actually, I'm like, yo, wait a minute, I'm 21. Am I
Not
not?
of
Yeah,
age, bro. Not of age. Come on, man.
yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep it
Wow.
moving. What are they putting
Yeah.
in the milk these days? I don't know. But
I am GMOs, bro. GMOs. I had a whole conversation about
GMOs.
this in high school health class, bro. For some reason, I was the only kid bringing up the fact that GMOs is why. Let me stop it, bro. This we're not about to get because some things could be seen as political. So it is. It is what it is. Let me look at the chat, man.
Oh,
Pre-snap
nah,
motion
what?
helps the
Yeah,
QB read the
let's
safeties.
skip out. I just saw Bronny's prom too, and then, damn, man, what the hell is going on?
Yo, first of all, you're
What the
older than
hell?
me.
What
All
the hell
right.
going on out here? I said what is going on. That is it. I said what's
Second of
going on.
all, where's Paola at, y'all? For those of you that don't know, Paola is Kid Blue's girlfriend. All right. Usually she's in the chat. The fact that she ain't been in the chat tells us the state of their relationship right now, all right?
Oh God, we got that trust. We got that
Oh
trust.
yeah, we're bro. Let her take one look at me with this curly hair. It's over for you.
This
It's
man
over for
said,
you.
"Curly hair poppy in the building."
Listen, bro. Earlier I had the Superman curl going. It literally said a
Hey
S. I don't
man,
know if
that
you peeped
Superman
it.
curl is on me, bro. Naturally, bro. You know what I'm saying? It be showing up every once in a
What are you
while. You know
pointing?
what
I
I'm
need a
saying?
microscope to see it, bro.
Ah, whatever, man. Let me wet my hair a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it's all
Go
right.
ahead, whip your hair back and forth like the
Nah,
Smiths.
I don't want to do it, man. I said wet my
Okay.
hair, not whip my hair. But
Okay then. Yeah, sure. I'm be honest with you guys. There's not really anything else coming to mind in terms of Giants news to talk about. We could definitely talk about some NFL stuff, but even then, there's kind of been nothing over the past of the weekend. Uh, this probably is gonna be one of the shorter episodes. We could do a little bit of a Q&A session. KB, is there any news? Yeah, I'm not really. There's none coming to mind. I'll take questions from the chat for sure, though, if you guys got any.
I mean, not anything right now. James Bradberry obviously was the biggest news, and then obviously we talked about the schedule too. After that, it's just a waiting game, to see who's performing out there. Hopefully, no injuries. Obviously, we don't have to worry about any depth players, moving up. But everything's looking good right now as far as the Giants goes. So we just have to wait. Uh, there's a Giants user named K. No, I think Durant's talking about my girl K Adams. All right, K Blue, K Adams. Right. The other KB. That's the wife. You know what I'm saying? But
Sure.
she moved on to greener pastures with Amazon. She's not on Good Morning Football anymore. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, there's been a lot of shakeup in the commentator realm of the NFL recently,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah, they're moving everywhere, man. Because
Everybody's moving.
Amazon's taking everybody.
Yeah, everybody's moving to a different station. Then you saw Brady got the record-setting deal as well. What was it for,
He's never
CBS
even
or something?
commentated on the game. He's already being paid more than Tony
I mean, because
Romo.
he's one of the goats, bro. That's
But
why, bro.
yeah,
It
but
makes
doesn't mean that
sense.
he's good. Doesn't mean as good at commentating.
If
You
Tony
know.
Romo, with his football knowledge, can be a good commentator, I'm sure Tom Brady would be good, bro.
Yeah. Listen, Tom Brady's gonna have to do a lot to top Tony Romo. His commentating ability because Tony Romo's a beast, man. I like him, man. I hated him as a Cowboy. Love him as a commentator. It sucks that he's with CBS because I hate CBS broadcast, but
Isn't that where Brady signed with, or did Brady sign with Fox?
I think he signed with. I think he signed with Fox.
With Fox? Was it Fox?
I
Okay
think he
then.
signed
Cool,
with
cool, cool.
Fox.
Let's see here. Ba-dum, ba-dum. What are my thoughts on the NBA playoffs? His Warriors are doing good. You're a Warriors fan, the NBA playoffs have been very, very entertaining. I am
Haven't really
kind of
watched it.
sad because I hate the Boston Celtics as a Knicks fan. The Boston Celtics are like stomach acid come to life. However, they have some of the most likable players in the entire league, and
Tatum,
and
like
likable
Brown.
stars, yeah, in
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown, and they play some of the best defense in the entire league as well. So I'm low key kind of cheering them on, but they have a great matchup with the Miami Heat. I think the Heat blew them out in the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. And the Heat are also very much the same. They play great team basketball. They have a kind of an underrated star in Jimmy Butler. People have really been looking over. They also play great defense, but where the Heat have the advantage is that they have insane depth, man. Like they have Victor Oladipo coming off the bench. That's insane depth. They got Tyler Hero coming off the bench. He was a sixth man of the year. Insane depth. We'll see if that trend continues from game one, where it was a defensive battle as expected, but the Heat pulled away because their guys started hitting their shots more than the Celtics could hit their shots. If that continues, this might be a quicker series than we expected, but we'll see. And then on the Western Conference side, I've just been rooting for Luka all the way, man.
Luca, my
Luca
man, Luca.
reminds me so much, so much of like a mixture of Bird because of his play style, because he's not that athletic and he has a good mid range shot. And he also reminds me of LeBron a little bit. And most of you guys knows I'm a big LeBron fan because he's really physical when he's driving to the basket. But it's like there's kind of this meme amongst NBA fans called the LeBron prophecy, which is like who's gonna fulfill the prophecy and be the next big thing when he's gone. And honestly, it
Uh,
looks like it's gonna be Luca, man, because Giannis already
taking
is
over the
there,
game.
but
Yeah.
Giannis is also already like 27. He's in the middle of his prime. Luca is young, bro. If he could take his team to the finals, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
It would be
I'm rooting
ridiculous if he
for
could
him.
take his team to the finals in his fourth year, which is also in code with the LeBron prophecy because he took his team to the finals in his fourth year as well.
LeBron prophecy.
Listen, bro, Luca is a baby. For those of you in my Discord, in the 2020 and 2021 playoffs, I always do watch parties for us for the finals. This year I might just stream it if there's interest. And I've been trying to get into NBA content as well for the Knicks. But I streamed a lot of Mavs games over the past 2 years because of Luka Doncic. So yeah,
Speaking of that, how do you feel that the Knicks were cursed with the 11th pick today?
bro, this is nothing new. The Knicks always. The one time we had a good pick, John Morant was already
RJ,
taken. It was
yeah,
like, and I love RJ, but the two better
yeah.
players were already taken. So it was like,
Obvious, yeah. Then that was the best we could get. We're like third. Okay, I guess we gotta make do with that, right? RJ
but if
Barrett is
the
freaking me.
one time we got a high pick was third overall, we can't get that first overall pick for some reason. And then if it's not that, it's always in that 10, 11, 12 range,
I
bro. It's
know.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Well, hopefully they could pick somebody good. Get Julius Randle up and out of here, bro. It's RJ's team. Since January to the end of the season, he looked like a legit star. Hopefully
He
that could
is.
continue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully whoever
I
we
have my
add is
doubts.
good.
I legitimately like from RJ's rookie year. I really had my doubts on him, but
He's
he took
like
over.
calling a spade a spade. He's definitely not John Morant, and he's
Right,
definitely
right.
not
Oh,
Zion when
not
healthy.
Zion either.
But
Yeah.
you look at his rookie year to now, there's incredible improvement. I just hope that what we saw in the second half of the season is exactly how he begins and he continues to improve.
Yeah, I
But
wanted.
we'll see.
He could be a legitimate star, man.
Hey man, Durant says RJ is better than Zion for the fact that Zion can stay in the court. I mean, I guess, but when Zion is healthy, it's not even a
Yeah,
competition.
maybe you say you prefer RJ because of that reason, but to say he's better than Zion, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
What's the latest on changing the turf for the Giants Stadium? I think that's going into effect in the next
not this
coming years. It's
season. I
not, and
think it's
it's nowhere.
2023.
Yeah, but yeah, is it part of the CBA now? Is it part of like the collective
I don't
bargaining
know. I
agreement?
think he's referring specifically to the Giants because I think the
Because
Giants and the Jets said
because
they
I
were going to do it in
know
2023
because I know it's supposed to go around the NFL. It's supposed to go around the league. They want to get rid of turf, and I
in
think that's a
general.
great idea. I think that's a
Okay.
great idea. I can't stand turf myself.
I mean, hopefully it actually reduces on the injuries here.
Injuries, yes, yes. I think, and players are so outspoken about it. They hate turf. They all hate turf. You know.
Yeah.
So I hope they get rid of it. I can't stand turf either. So it hurts my knees, bro. Really hurts my knees.
I mean, I think that's going to be it, guys. I really don't want to stretch it out because it kind of feels like I'm stretching it out for the past couple minutes. I know it's the shorter episode. There's not too much to address right now. I feel like maybe there is one thing that's completely flown over my mind. But KB ain't thinking of anything either, so maybe there isn't. But guys, thank you so much. Like I said, shorter episode, all 55 of y'all. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, share out the stream to get it out there. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. Continue to show me support. Continue to show the channel support. It's not possible without you guys, and you were great tonight. Thank you for watching us, tuning in, and all that. KB, any last thoughts before we end it and head out here?
Nothing much. Just make sure you guys follow us on all our pages. I guess we got Twitter, obviously our YouTube channels. Next week will be on my channel, same time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be talking about the latest Giants slash NFL news that came out since this show, during the week. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are a huge support for us, man.